How do? Got an absolute clown show of a story here with the absolute degenerate of a human being, and the sort of cute person I'll show you the picture of him afterwards, and you'll look at him and you'll be like, yeah, that is exactly what I thought that person would be the sort of person to do. So anyway, here we go. Transgender woman, it's a man by the way, 45, who dumped soiled adult nappies at children's nurseries, stole a roll of clinical waste bags from local business and hid inside a bin, appears in court. For people from North America, when we say nappies, you would call them diapers, just for in case you don't know what that is. Uh, Abby Taylor, accused of 9 charges from October 22nd, 2022 to November 2023. Case was sent to Newcastle Crown Court for a next appearance in January 16th. No pleas were entered at the hearing in South Tyneside Magistrates Court. Magistrates, quite low court. That's a low court, that really, magistrates. Not if it was things like, say, serious assaults or, say, drink driving, murder, things like that. That'd be Crown Court. So magistrates is for more minor offences. I think they can send you to prison, but for no more that it has to be less than a year though. Anything more than a year then goes to Crown Court. That's sort of the distinction between the two. Also, at magistrates, they'll do things like, say, shoplifting or dangerous driving. People who've been caught speeding, they're appealing it. Things like that. Taylor is accused of 4 counts of dumping bags of toxic material, namely nappies containing human waste, at nurseries in South Tyneside, contrary to the Environmental Protection Act. Well, not only that, but it's just absolutely grossly offensive and indecent. And I've said this quite a few times in the past, and I'm going to say it for this individual here. He needs flogging. And I'm not saying that for effect or to try and be an edgelord or try and sound cool. This human being genuinely needs flogging. There is no other way that you can teach somebody, I don't think, with this kind of antisocial behaviour, with just giving them what is essentially a bollocking. And for those who think, oh, I swear, it's bollock is not a swear in Britain. The Sex Pistols proved that in court when the BBC refused to have them on air during daytime hours. So it is not a swear word. So you've just got an absolute degenerate human being here. I wouldn't be surprised if he's claiming to be transgender to try and get a lenient sentence. We did see that in Scotland, where that male rapist, fully intact male rapist, tried to claim he was a woman and started being transgender before he appeared in court. And Nicola Sturgeon lost her job for that. But that's another story for another time if you don't know that one. And worth looking into, by the way, if you're interested. So the 45-year-old of Haymarket Walk, South Shields, also accused of stealing a roll of clinical waste bags from a local nursery business, as well as hiding in a public bin with soiled nappies and smearing excrement on children's milk bottles. That is just disgusting. Here's pictures of him. And it is a him. And you're going to look at him and you'll be like, yeah, absolutely to be expected. So there you go. Just what you expect. Absolutely what you expect. Got his finger up at the camera. Just a wrong un. An absolute nonce and wrong. Doing that, that really should... I don't know how, but to me, that almost seems like it's teetering into paedophilic behaviour. Doing that to nursery and interfering with food products as well. Like that at a nursery. You know, there's something there. I'm not a legal expert, but I'm absolutely convinced that a very clever and shrewd barrister could find some sort of child indecency laws involving that. No pleas were entered at the hearing in South Tyneside Magistrates Court, and the case was sent to Newcastle Crown Court for an extra... There you go, so they must be making it more serious then. The magistrates have obviously said, no, this is too much for us. This is too serious. He could end up with prison time for this. Denise Rice of South Tyneside Council called the case complicated. It's not complicated at all. He's a wrong un and he needs flogging. If that noise, by the way, was me, not your computer. And summarised, it as dumping soiled adult nappies, interfering with nappies at a nursery, smearing milk bottles with excreta, and the theft of nappy bags and associated offences. Annalisa Moscardini defending... Well, there's nothing to defend there. Really, if you're a defending solicitor who's doing defence, if you have any actual morals or principles, you say to your client, I think you should just admit guilty, because you are guilty and you're a wrong un. There is a lot of issues involved, and I agree the Crown Court is the correct venue. Well, that's good. At least she's seeing that. Probably. Well, I mean, habeas corpus and all that. I suppose innocent until proven guilty. Taylor, but if this person is found guilty, should be flogged. Taylor also faces a charge of publicly outraging public decency. Yeah, well, that's what I was sort of trying to allude to before, but I don't think I got the right words. By behaving in an indecent manner, namely by being inside a bin containing the waste of children, including with soiled nappies and disclosed garments, and interacting with the soiled nappies in sight of the public. This guy obviously gets his kicks from engaging in absolutely degenerate behaviour, but I think also he's a bit of an exhibitionist as well. She is also accused of criminal damage by smearing excrement on milk bottles intended for consumption by small children and on other parts of a nursery building, including the fire escape. My God, this is just crazy, isn't it? This guy is just absolutely unhinged. The defendant is charged with breaching a criminal behaviour order imposed by Nottinghamshire Magistrates Court in April this year. So it sounds like he's most likely lived in Nottinghamshire, which is like sort of the Midlands of England, and he's probably moved up north to try and not be known to the police there, because although the police can communicate very easily with each other, they tend not to communicate over the boundary lines. You find a lot of nonces do that as well. They'll move from one area to another, and they'll also change their name as well to try and get around like certain sex offenders register things. And I don't fully understand it myself, because it's not really something I've wanted to know about or needed to know about, but I'm just aware from reading in various news articles in the past that there is an issue with that. So from Nottinghamshire Magistrates Court in April this year, by being within 10 metres of a nursery without reasonable excuse and or by removing items from a waste receptacle in direct contravention of said order. Yeah, so this guy's clearly a habitual wrong-un, and I think he's done what I've just explained, which is he's been engaged in criminal activity of a similar nature in another part of the country, and he's moved county lines and he's changed his identity to try and hide, to try and avoid being caught, because the police would, I believe, they would look for similar crimes around the country, but whatever his previous name is, his real name, his Christian name, and being male, they would be looking for that person. But obviously with how woke the police are, because he's saying he's female, they wouldn't even think, unless it was quite extreme, to even consider him, because that'd be some sort of offence, and you know, we support LGBT rights, and trans women are real women, you know. Taylor also faces a charge of intentionally or recklessly causing a public nuisance between October 22 and November 23 in South Tyneside without reasonable excuse by continuously dumping adult human waste and other materials on the street and at a nursery premises and interfering with the contents of clinical waste bins containing fecal matter from children and babies. I was having a discussion the other day actually about this, where I won't name the person who with, but the big problem we've got at the moment is, and we have done for quite a long time, is I think a lot of these sorts of people, once upon a time, they would have been locked up in an institute, and then they decided to bring in this whole care in the community. In fact, we were talking about poor houses, and I do think that there should be a sort of reintroduction of poor houses like they used to, the old work houses, but not in the style that the Victorians did. I mean, they were barbaric, you know, feeding people gruel. You know, the people had to live in them. Families were split up from each other. You know, they were fed absolutely abysmal food, gruel, basically, just wheat. You know, it's like, it wasn't even porridge. You know, it was like mostly watery porridge, you know, like 50-50 water porridge mix. It's just disgusting. And it was things like, say, they'd be like laundrettes, or, you know, like, what they called, where they produce cotton mills, you know, things like that. But the people wouldn't even be paid money, so it was just a form of profiteering off misery, really. I do think people like this, he's probably got serious mental health issues. It still doesn't excuse his behaviour, and I do think he would learn by definitely getting a damn good thrashing. But people like this just aren't capable of being trusted, of living in the streets. But he's not, you know, if he's capable of engaging in this, he's clearly capable of operating basic machinery. And I think by putting people like this in sheltered accommodation, where they are very much controlled on what they can and can't do, give them an actual wage, so that, you know, include the, you know, kind of like student accommodation. You know, so it's properly housed, you know, with proper amenities, you know, where they live in, you know, they've got the working nowadays like most people have, you know, 9 to 5 or whatever it is. Food, but all the food is provided for, proper meals as well. Electricity, Wi-Fi, gas, whatever they need, all of that's included in, but that's then classed as part of their earnings. Give them enough money each week so they can buy their essentials, you know, and have a little bit of spending money left over. You know, people like this just clearly can't be trusted to live on their own. I don't think institutionalising them is the right idea either, because the institutions were quite barbaric as well. So, but just allowing these people to just live in care in the community, where he's probably living in a council house. You know, he'll have a carer turn up for maybe 10 minutes a day, if that. He's just, I imagine his house is going to be absolutely disgusting inside, if that's what the sort of activities he's behaving in. He's probably not going to actually have his heating paid for. You know, his gas or electricity won't be paid for, because people like this just do not know how to manage the money at all. They're just an absolute. Well, they just. I don't even know what the words are. They just can't care for themselves, and they're just wrong uns. You know, they shouldn't be wandering around like they are doing. And I don't care about their human rights. You know, that is, he has volunteered himself to lose his human rights by engaging in behaviour like that. They're just totally unacceptable. You know, and same with like extreme drug addicts and stuff. You know, people like that. You know, but people should, you know, it shouldn't be where you're stuck for life. You know, you should be able to, once you've learned how to manage your own life properly in your affairs, then be brought back to the community. But then if you start relapsing again, you know, back to the, you know, I don't even know what to call it. I'll call it just the workhouse for now, the poorhouse, because I have no better terminology for it. But it's just craziness that this is happening in this day and age, you know. And this is what the far left have given us. You know, they're allowing these absolutely degenerate people to just wander around, and they've no control, they've no self-control at all. You know, they've no impulse control. I suppose in that way that's where they'd use the emotional arguments. They're like, well, they can't help it, it's not their fault, you know, they've got this issue, that issue, blah. And this is why you don't debate those people and them types of issues. You bring it back to facts and reality, and morals possibly as well. You know, you say, no, the facts are this person is obviously a degenerate, they can't look after themselves, they're no benefit to society, they need to be somewhere where they can still contribute to society, where they're looked after with dignity, but they are also, society's protected from their bad behaviour. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. If you found that informative, please like, subscribe, put a comment below, and I'll see about getting another video up soon enough. Take care. Bye-bye.